Your awakening didn't change your life, it interrupted it. And here's how: you did the work, you saw the conditioning, the programming, the script that's been running in the background, and you thought that that was it, that was enough. The work is done, right? Because now you finally understand what's been happening. And then one day you wake up and it's like your life is still the same. There's no meaningful progress that's been made. You have all the understanding of the triggers and how it works and why it works, and yet you still feel stuck. And you even see the world differently, right? The world looks upside down to you, right? You see all the wars, the cruelty, the greed. You're becoming more aware of it. And as your inner world is shifting, you want your outer world to reflect that. But you can't change it by just understanding it. Just like the healing process, you have to feel your way through it. Your healing triggers your awakening. Yes, you start to see through what is wrong in the world, the food that they're feeding us, the land grabbing that's happening for all of these data centers, the misinformation that keeps us activated and afraid to move forward. You awaken to the fact that the world is not what you thought it was, and neither are you. But the awakening shows up not only in what you see, but it shows up in what you live and what you experience. For instance, the job that you found security in for so long is now gone. Either there's been layoffs, you've been fired, or you just don't even want to be there anymore, right? The relationship that you gave more to than you ever got in return, you're ready to walk away from it. Or the other person decided to end it before you did. Your body starts to have aches and pains in places it never has before. Your car starts breaking down, right? And then the decisions come, and you're so afraid to make them that you don't move at all. That is the collapse. That is the threshold. And it doesn't stop there. Your healing journey, it opens up your awakening. And this is where it starts. And then your remembering finishes it, because your remembering is your evolution. Awakening and evolution are not the same thing. The same way healing and evolution are not. Did I say it right? Awakening and remembering are not the same thing, the same way the healing and evolution are not. And most women stop at the healing and they think that that is where the change lives. The healing is a return to yourself, and evolution is this reorientation. It's the remembering. It turns you towards the life that you want to live and you know you're supposed to live. But you need both, right? If you stay in the first one, just in the healing, you'll spend the next 10 years of looping. And that feels like progress and functions like stuckness, right? It can feel like your awakening has plateaued, like the healing didn't work, and like your life is just not moving forward. And I know that loop because I've lived inside it for far too long. If this is you, I want you to stay with me because I'm going to go a little bit deeper here. But first, I just want to welcome you back. If this is your first time here and you're new and you just found me, I am happy to have your attention for the next few minutes. I am Marjorie. I am the founder of the Feminati, and I'm a midwife to women who are ready to move beyond life outside of the system and who are ready to build a life that is meaningful in some way. So I want to invite you to like this video. And once you're done, if you haven't done so already, subscribe. All right. Because I release a new video every Saturday, and I'd love to have you here as part of the community. So for years, I pushed myself through practices that were meant to heal you, right? Long hours of somatic work. I did the meditations, all the emotional excavation. And I cried all the tears until I was empty. And there were moments where I felt so completely empty that it took me into that liminal space that I talk about. And through my tears, the world started to look different. People sounded different. And I remembered feeling like, oh, sorry, I have a tickle in my nose. I remembered feeling like I had crossed this invisible line. This is the threshold, I thought, I had made it. And I figured that surely, I had arrived at this place because, I'd done all this damn work, right? And I could see things clearly and I could understand myself better. But what I didn't see yet was that I had only reached a doorway. And what I was experiencing was the interruption. But let me be clear about something, because I don't want to diminish what the healing work means for us, what any of us have gone through, because the healing matters and the awakening matters. It gives us sight, right? Like I could see the stories that I had been living in, a story that was written by someone else. I could easily name the conditioning. I could trace the lineage of expectations that had shaped me, my mother's, her mother, and like every woman before them who taught them what their value was, and they measured their value by someone else's standards. I was able to give language to something that I was feeling in my body for years, and couldn't really name it. And I understood why I married the man that I married and why it ended so violently the way it did. And it told me the truth that I really needed, right? That what I was experiencing, it wasn't a personal failure, right? Like my life was worthless. It was an initiation. And that's what healing does, right? Healing, it repairs what's broken, it restores what had been taken from us, and it gives you back your own name. That's why I named myself Phoenix afterwards. That is holy work. That's sacred work. And don't let anyone tell you that it isn't. But understand that healing is a return to self, but it's not the destination. So when you have this recognition, right? Recognition and recognizing this doesn't reorganize your life in the way that you think it will. It's not going to magically change your relationships and your work or make manifestation any easier. Seeing the illusion and being able to move beyond it are two different things. And eventually, that is the part where we tend to get stuck. You don't just see differently, you live differently. And this part of the recognition asks your body to hold what your mind has already understood and grasped. It asks you to move and to speak and to make decisions from a different place, from a different location within you. That is when power stops being this idea and it starts becoming something that you live through, that you can metabolize within you. So for me, it's like it looked like the identities that I had relied on for so many years, they didn't work anymore. Right? The things that I wanted before, I don't want them no longer. And I knew at some point I couldn't go back to who I was, but I didn't yet trust who I was becoming. How many people are feeling that right now? Because that's a scary place to be for most of us, that in between place. There's nothing to keep doing and nothing to keep performing. It's just this pause, this unglamorous pause where all that insight from the healing and awakening is now demanding action. It requires something of you. And this is exactly where the loop begins, because that pause is uncomfortable for us. So we do what we know how to do, right? We find another practice, right? Another modality or framework, another retreat, another book to read, right? That will give us that feeling or illusion that we're crossing the threshold. And really, what we're doing is we're just staying in planning mode, or we become a woman in waiting. We mistake the intensity of more learning and more information for evidence that we're crossing. And I questioned a lot of times that maybe I wasn't healed enough. Here I am trying to fix something, right? Like I had to fix myself. There's nothing to fix. You're healed. You just haven't remembered. Now, this remembering part, this is not about recovering a memory. It's about putting yourself back together from parts that were scattered or displaced, right? Parts of your identity you put aside in order to survive, in order to get along. You may have had to survive something in your childhood. You may have had to survive something during your marriage. You just needed to get through the job every day, right? You had to set a piece of yourself down. There's a story in Women Who Run with the Wolves of the sealskin woman. And I shared this story in one of my videos. I can't remember which one right now, but she was seduced by a fisherman to leave her sealskin. Oh, no, he took her sealskin because she had taken it off and he held it and he said, I'll give it back to you, but you have to come, like, be my wife, live with me, gave her all of these promises, and then I'll give it back to you. But over time, he kept it. He kept it. And the longer and longer he kept it, parts of her started to fade, like that inner core area of her. That fading is that displacement for many of us. And all those years, she kept feeling this stirring inside of her that she needed to get back to the sea, of that place where she is most herself. And finally, she did, right? And I'll have to share the story more depth with you. And I'll be doing some teachings like this in a space that I'm creating. But this story shows you how we as women can lose parts of ourselves in service to something or someone else. And then over time, those parts of us fade or they're separated. There's a separation of self, right? And I want to say, I've been talking about this great remembering for over a year now, and it's happening now. For centuries, we have been moving through this age of separation, right? We're separated from nature, from our bodies, from one another, from this deeper wisdom that is within all of us. But understanding that every ending carries the seed of beginnings. And right now, the cosmos is mirroring that truth back to us. It's a return of a sacred intelligence of creation. It's a force that is restoring balance and harmony and belonging. And the planets are revealing it to us and giving us a blueprint for how we can move forward. So, this is the time. Everything that's unfolding in the skies right now is a mirror and a message. And it reflects what is awakening within all of us, those pieces of ourselves that we had given away. And I do go into a deeper teaching about this in a video I did several months ago called The Great Remembering, Restoring the Balance of Power in a Changing World. I'll make sure and link that below for you if you want to check that out. But when we go through the remembering, we start to remember now we're at evolution. And evolution asks three things of you. First of all, your consciousness, right? Not more insight, but this coherence, the alignment between what you know and how you actually live. Then there's embodiment, right? Your nervous system has to be able to hold that life that you say that you want. Otherwise, you will sabotage it the moment that it arrives. And you'll call it self-doubt when it's actually about your capacity. And then there's allegiance. Now, this is the one. You shift your loyalty away from the systems that have shaped you, away from the approval that has raised you, towards your own authority and the future that you are here to create. This is not about fixing yourself. There's nothing to fix. It is about choosing yourself. And when you choose, you start to build. You start building the life you want, the body you feel comfortable living inside, the pace that you want to move through in your life every day that doesn't run on other people's emergencies. You're building a business that has heart, but it doesn't trigger your emotional capacity. You build parallel, a life you are constructing on your own terms right now, next to the one that you were handed. So let me show you the difference between a healed woman and an evolved woman. Because you can agree with everything that I'm saying right now, right? I knew all of this for years and I could teach it. I could say it out loud and mean it. But knowing it and living it, that's two different things. So a healed woman knows her worth. An evolved woman doesn't negotiate it. A healed woman knows her morning routines matter, her night routines matter. An evolved woman makes it matter. A healed woman knows her boundaries. An evolved woman is fine separating herself from a relationship that cannot respect them. A healed woman has a plan. An evolved woman puts time, money, and energy behind the plan. Do you feel the difference? Evolution is not just knowing where the pattern came from, it is what you do when it shows up again. It is in the moment that you can say yes or no, and you don't need to feel the need to apologize for it. You stop giving more of yourself to others than you're willing to give to yourself. And you learn the difference between giving from overflow and giving from depletion. One is knowing, the other is choosing. So let me ask you this question, and this is a real one. You might not feel so comfortable. What have you known for a while that you want to do, be, start, and have still not acted on it? That answer is inside of you. You've been holding it for a long time. But even with all that knowing, you still aren't moving. So I want you to comment below and tell me if you can answer that question. And if you really don't know, then I want you to tell me, then I want you to consider taking the emergence map. Now, this will help you identify those repeating patterns that keep you stuck and on the edge of your threshold. And it will show you how and why it's triggered and what archetype wants to emerge but can't. But the most important part of this is that you will receive a comprehensive 90-day plan that is customized to you, and it includes 3 action phases: failure protocols, a tracking strategy, right? And then you also get an hour with me where I get to walk you through it. So I'll also link that in the description box below. And one more thing before I let you go. I'm building a space. I'm creating a space, a room. And it's for women like you who have done the healing work. And now you get to be a part of moving beyond that healing to evolution with me. The doors open August 6th. And if that's you, I want you to stay close. Follow me on Substack. Make sure to subscribe here, and I'll let you know how to join me. So until next time, this is the work of remembering who you are before the world told you who to be.